Well, welcome back. Let's now have a brief look at the Nazi strategies and tactics they used to take power between 1923 and 1933. This video is essentially an overview, and we've seen this information elsewhere. When historians are considering the reasons why the Nazis have come to power or came to power in or after the July 1932 election, they usually consider a number of factors. The first one is that they consider the prevailing social, economic and political conditions which existed in Weimar Germany between 1919 and 1932. So we've looked at those factors. These have been covered elsewhere in your work. The other factors that we need to take into account, the other elements we need to study up on, are located in this handout. Okay, the tactics and the strategies that the Nazis used during the period 1919 to 1932 undergo change after the failed Munich beer hall putsch. Putsch, by the way, is another word for a coup attempt, a violent attempt to take over, a revolutionary attempt. A German word for, if you like, a push for power, a violent attempt to take power. The four elements that Mason argues are key to understanding the Nazi strategies and tactics are they insisted upon using legal means to take power. Now, we're going to look at that separately. When we look at the Nazis insisting upon legal means, it essentially means they're going to use the structures of the Weimar Republic to destroy the Weimar Republic. The second key feature, key tactic, key strategy that the Nazis use to take power is they have a reliance on violence. At their heart, the Nazis are a violent organization. At the core of their beliefs, there is a sense in violence. So, that violent nature of the Nazi Party is shown at many times throughout its period in power, but in the period of 1919 to 1932, we need to look at a group known as the SA, the brown shirts, the Sturmabteilung. We often call them the stormtroopers. But perhaps the best translation they had at the time was storm detachments or storm workers or storm division. The SA, the stormtroopers, the brown shirts. Next, the Nazis very much relied on a number of forms of propaganda. They were masters at political advertising, well ahead of their time. And lastly, they had the crucial support of the German president, Paul von Hindenburg, at a time where he was needed to defend democracy. Hindenburg and a number of other leading German politicians in 1932 share power with Hitler and the Nazis. And this is a significant factor in why they came to power and how a totalitarian one-party state takes control in Germany from 1933 onwards. We also need to then think about the responses of other democratic parties, the ruling elites of Germany. Now, we could go on a lot about this, and we're not going to dwell on it in this course. But why was it that the moderate parties weren't able to do the same sorts of propaganda tactics to hold the line? Why weren't they able to get their act together and deal with unemployment, to deal with the concerns of the German people at that particular time? Why was it they were so concerned with infighting? Why was it that the Communist Party, the Socialist Party, sometimes called Marxist, why weren't they able to stop the Nazis? So these are all interesting questions, something a little bit beyond the scope of this task, but there's an overview of the main reasons why the Nazis came to power after 1932.